Boys and girls, this is the Undisputed Era. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, and you're listening to Going In Raw, baby.
What's up? This is the most must-see WWE superstar of all time and his lovely, gorgeous wife,
Marie.
and you are going in Smackdown Live.
Hi, this is Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke watching Going In the Raw.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to, filmed live at twitch.tv/Steven Larson, airing at youtube.com/Steven Larson, and of course found wherever audio podcasts can be found. If you're listening to my voice right now, please leave us a rating, review, or a comment. It really goes a long way towards helping grow Going In Raw. We also have available, if you enjoy Going In Raw, Friendo Club TV. It's our bonus content that we churn out every single week. You get 4 episodes plus every Friday a vintage 10 for the win. Today, this is a blast from the past.
Oh yeah, it's a curiosity for sure.
We ran a fan fiction, a Steven Larson fan fiction contest back in 2011, I think.
10 mere months.
Oh,
mere months after
wow.
we began full time on 10 for the win. Yeah,
and the winner of that contest, we turned their story into a short film.
Yeah, Mishima let us put it on the main channel,
which is crazy. And then so we found that. And we uploaded that. It's a bizarre little piece, but it's also pretty fun. So check that out. We also, every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we go live for the Friendos. And you can get access to all this bonus content at patreon.com/Steven Larson, or by becoming a YouTube channel member by clicking on join, or by being a sub on the Twitch. By the way, if anybody out there who is a current sub on Twitch, if you're not receiving emails with bonus content, please feel free to hit us up. Either email us at stevenlarson@gmail.com or hit me up directly on the Twitter. You can DM me at MFSteve here. I received this the other day. Somebody said that, and I was like, whoa, we need to get that figured out.
Yeah,
so I want to make sure everybody
yeah.
who's signing up, who's throwing us subs, is getting access to that bonus content if they want it.
Correct.
Another Smackdown in the books. We have been proven wrong, Larson. Let me ask you something. So, Baron Corbin was eliminated in the first round tonight in the Smackdown. By the way, new patron Lyle. Thanks, Lyle.
Thank you, Lyle.
Eliminated in the first round of the Intercontinental Championship tournament.
Correct.
You and I both picked him to go all the way. For me, it was mainly the kind of thing where I think I felt it was inevitable because I didn't want it so much, and sometimes WWE will do what I don't want them to do.
Yeah, it just seemed like the most WWE move to put that belt on Baron. That's the only reason I said it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I totally believed it because
and based on how they were doing things with Sammy's out, Baron's in with Nakamura and Cesaro, it's just been like a 1-for-1 trade, including the title. But I guess not, and that's fun. I appreciate they're going a whole new direction. I don't know what that means for Cesaro and Nakamura going forward. But I think it's a good idea to put the Intercontinental title on someone potentially who hasn't had it before.
All right, so
that's a segue for you right there.
It says in the thumbnail. So every Monday on Friendo Club TV, we do a goofier version of what we're about to do, which is the power rank.
We've been power ranking for years.
This past Monday, we power ranked the worst Intercontinental Championship tournament that WWE could put on. Huh?
You had Goldberg winning that, right?
I had Goldberg winning that.
I had Jackson Riker winning that.
Jackson Riker had some words tonight.
That he did.
Let's see here. I don't have your notes up immediately. Do you have the brackets?
I don't have the. Well, I have the. Yeah, I kind of have the brackets. I have the matchups. And right. If you, the first 2 matches are on one side, the second 2 matches, here, I'll do this. First 2 matches are on one side, the second 2 matches are on the second side.
Oh, okay.
I already have my power rankings done, so you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go
if
first.
You're working on it. So, 8, skip ahead to the results of the show today. Drew Gulak, he lost his match for Daniel Bryan. Excellent bout. We'll go into more detail on that later.
Yeah.
I thought that match was tons of fun. Really fantastic. Great. 7, Baron Corbin. He lost to Elias.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it was a really fun match. Those 2 guys really put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
6, Elias. He just beat Baron. but I think his journey to becoming Intercontinental Champion ends with his next round match. Number 5, this pains me, and he would probably be much higher if I thought he'd be sticking around for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But he said, "Hey, my wife's pregnant. I'm about to take some time off. I don't think they put the Intercontinental title on Daniel Bryan when his contract's up soon. He's taking time off to spend time with his newborn baby and his wife."
Mm-hmm.
So I got Daniel Bryan at 5. If it weren't for that, he might be number 1. 4, AJ Styles. I kind of feel like this is just a brand-to-brand invitational appearance for him.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if he lost to Nakamura. He still has the Spectre and Ghost, the PTSD from Undertaker he's dealing with. Maybe that could come into play.
Yeah.
3, Jeff Hardy. Honestly, I feel like the winner of that matchup has a leg up on this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
2, Nakamura. I don't know. I settled him at 2 against process elimination because really number 1, I feel pretty good about this.
Jeff Hardy.
Sheamus.
Oh, you already said Jeff Hardy. Okay.
He's in the midst of a pretty solid push. He's actually never been Intercontinental Champion before. So he wins this tournament. He gets the Intercontinental title. He is a Grand Slam champion. So my pick, Sheamus. Steve will be happy because he is number 1 Sheamus fan. Maybe they'll bring back his Lobster Head song upon his victory.
I'd be pretty hyped about that.
So Sheamus is winning the Intercontinental title.
Interesting. Interesting. They've got Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus in the first round. I would have thought that could have been a final right there.
That could have been a final, yeah.
So, all right. That's good. That's good. All your reasoning is good. Makes sense. I'm going to go with this. I'm going to say, of course, obviously, 7 and 8, Drew and Baron Corbin, doesn't matter. If this was happening yesterday, Baron Corbin would be number 1, so it doesn't matter where he's at. Yeah. Number 6 is Elias, because that's not going to happen. Number 5 would be Shinsuke Nakamura. He was champion. They did basically nothing with him, so I don't foresee them doing anything with him again. Although I think this matchup with AJ Styles is going to be really good.
Yeah, it should be. Hopefully
Next up is AJ Styles, because he's doing the Undertaker. He's not going to be IC champion. And on top of that, he's on Raw. So I don't care what brand invitational there is. He's on Raw. Isn't he? He's on Raw, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's on Raw.
Yeah,
on Raw.
Okay. Which means down to the top 3. My number 3 is actually Sheamus. I like your reasoning. I just think that you have to hesitate a little bit on paying too close attention to the backstage stuff, but also kind of not. If I have to choose between Jeff Hardy and Sheamus, I'm going Jeff Hardy just because they want him to stick around. And I think that Jeff Hardy as IC champion, I mean, I don't know how much of a needle mover it would be, but I like the move. I like the idea. I think Sheamus as IC champion, I think it'd look great, and he might very well pull it off. I think Jeff Hardy, people really want to, people like Jeff Hardy a lot.
Yeah. I'm rooting for him, I think, too.
And then I've got Daniel Bryan. Again, I know you mentioned this, but man, he said right after WrestleMania he was going to be gone, and he's sticking around. Daniel Bryan seems to be having. Sorry, go ahead.
So he's a month after WrestleMania now. It's more than a month after WrestleMania. He's still there.
And he seems to be having the time of his life right now.
Yeah, he's having a lot of fun.
I mean, I don't think I've seen somebody smile as wide as him at the beginning of that Money in the Bank match. His promo tonight was very convincing. Somebody on Twitter, I don't know who it was, and I apologize, but I don't know if it was a friendo or like somebody that I followed, said how great would it be if him and Sheamus, because they're on opposite sides of the brackets, I think.
No, they're the same side of the bracket.
Okay, if they ended up,
Sheamus wins, that's the semifinal matchup. Yeah.
Okay, how great would it be? And they wouldn't do this now because of how they're booking Sheamus. If they had Daniel Bryan deliver a knee in 8 seconds to get the win, like at WrestleMania a couple of years ago. Yeah, Daniel Bryan's my number 2 because that promo was great. And then Jeff Hardy's number 1. I think Jeff Hardy's going to win this thing.
I really feel like the winner of the Hardy-Sheamus match is going to be the guy who wins the whole thing.
I could see that. I could totally see that.
That's what my gut's telling me.
Given that we already have one face as major champion, it wouldn't surprise me if they put it on a heel at this point.
And one of the reasons, too, I thought Sheamus might win is he can beat Hardy not the cleanest way. and then after the tournament, they could feud for the belt, and Hardy could get it down the line.
Yeah, absolutely. They could do that at SummerSlam or something. Yep. So yeah, but otherwise, I thought tonight was a really good SmackDown. It was
fun.
It was probably Otis is just made for fans. He really is.
I found Otis to be the least interesting part of this whole episode. Like his opening stuff on Miz TV, it felt really hit or miss. I think some of the humor didn't strike the target as intended. I think part of that was delivery, and I think that's more due to the fact that he doesn't have a ton of experience doing a lot on the mic in the ring.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that he was okay. I thought that this is the kind of thing he needs a crowd. Like he even plays to a crowd. He plays to a crowd that isn't there.
It's just me. I appreciate that he's an eccentric character, and like air humping's pretty funny, but it's got its limit with me. You know, I still don't see him as legit world title guy right now.
I don't know that we ever will, man. I mean, look, here's the thing. Somebody asked us the other day, and I don't like bringing this name up because it was a bad idea. But somebody asked the other day, is Otis the modern day Eugene? And he kind of is. Here's the thing about Eugene. Eugene was specifically, okay, look, I don't know why they ever came up with Eugene. I mean, I can guess, and I think there's been stories out there that somebody thought this was a good idea. But the bottom line is Eugene was a guy that everybody picked on, that everybody cheered for, that you felt sympathy for, and when he would come alive, he would get his own, you know? Otis is the same thing. There is no hint that Otis is anything more personality-wise than basically Eugene. And I'm not talking about like he's supposed to be like, you know, the whatever. I'm just saying that like it's basically the same type of thing. Like people pick on him, they don't take him seriously. Even if they give him win after win after win, he's always going to be that guy. And I don't know that he's going to get out of that. I don't know that it's possible to dig him out of that. I just don't. And is that the kind of personality that anybody can see being like the alpha guy there in WWE with the WWE champion, with the Universal Championship?
We talked about this before, how a lot of what they're doing with Otis is trying to make him, it's like a two-pronged attack that has basically no crossover, where he's really weird and they want him to seem relatable.
Yeah.
So you got a guy who, you know, he looks like this, you know, like a regular dude. He's not tall. He's not chiseled like a lot of wrestlers, you know. And yeah, he's got seemingly some social anxiety. He's a little eccentric. He's a bit of an oddball.
I mean, look,
but here's the thing: there's being a little bit of an oddball, and there's this being that's beyond just being a little bit of an oddball. Yeah. You know, that's weird territory, where it's just a weird character trait where he's just going around making weird guttural noises.
They have dialed that back a bit.
They have, like, his whole thing, pretty much, well, not his whole thing, but vast majority of the thing on Miz TV was him speaking in his shoot voice, and I appreciated that. And there's a weird, I just wonder maybe if the reason some of it wasn't hitting for me tonight is that he doesn't know how to transition from shoot voice Otis, which makes him way more relatable, and then going to air humping the briefcase, you know?
Yeah, but here's the problem with him being shoot voice Otis is that you're ditching the thing that got him over. You are. And
I understand
at that point, he's just a regular guy who gets picked on. And if he can't make that, I actually thought, I'll put it this way. I don't disagree that the stuff was hit or miss. I disagree that it was in the delivery. I think that it's always difficult to deliver bad material. There are some people who can do it, but like when they asked what is in your briefcase and he said the bratwurst is in there, I laughed. I thought that was
a good line, because that was a good line.
I thought, no, and I thought it was in the material. I thought that when the material was crappy,
I think what preceded it, where he's like, oh yeah, there was what's the other? I've got it wrong here. The other antacid that's starts with an R.
Rolaids.
Rolaids. Yeah, I got some Rolaids, some Gas X, and then they pressed the matter about the food. And he goes, yeah, I got a bratwurst in case you get hungry. That last bit was funny,
yeah,
But this part about the antacid, the gas X.
Yeah, I think I laughed because he said gas X with some energy. He said, and some gas X. I don't know. I thought that was kind of funny. But that's T, Cerrone. I get what you're saying. But the bottom line is, I mentioned this earlier today on News Brief. These empty arena shows, when nobody's there, it's just the promos just come off as awkward. When you're in the middle of the ring and nobody's there to receive them, they're just awkward.
Yeah. Nick Kyle here in chat says Larson hates Otis because of what happened at Money in the Bank. No, I don't blame Otis for that. I've never had a problem with Otis per se. I just don't see him right now as main event guy. I want to so much. But another year building. Imagine this. Imagine if AJ had won Money in the Bank and Otis was in this tournament, and he had to week after week, match after match, be underestimated by his opponent to score a win each and every time. That's actually building someone with storytelling rather than having literally a briefcase fall into his hands.
Yeah, but I mean, they had him in a decent storyline where he was getting wins. And they can give, dude, I don't know. I think you're partially right. In my opinion, I think you're partially right. I think that would help. But the bottom line is he's a weirdo. And that's what makes him entertaining. But I think that's his ceiling. And that ceiling does not extend up to the Universal Championship.
And that we're in agreement. But I think it would for the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I kind of agree with that too.
And then
especially
you have him
really good matches.
Yeah, you could have him put on good matches, win the IC belt, and then go from there and see what happens. Because like the story of the main event is right now Otis is no match for Braun because Otis was in there against Miz and Morrison. It took a hot tag to Braun, and Braun wrecked him.
Yeah.
Wrecked him.
Yeah, totally.
And so he's got a ways to go, I think, both in terms of kayfabe dealing with Braun or even Bray for that matter, and for us watching, being a believable contender. I think there's a lot of work to be done. That's why I kind of feel like probably a year early. Imagine if he'd been this Intercontinental title, had won the belt. A year from now, he's in Money in the Bank. Something similar happens. Then you're talking. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe.
You do need you need to build the personality so he's not a weirdo though. And I don't know. I don't know if you're going to kill the entertainment value if you do that. I don't know. It's a difficult situation to be in. But I don't know. I mean, Vince seems seemingly at this point intent. I mean, it was interesting seeing him in there next to, just in the same vicinity as the Universal Champion. And I wonder if they sort of do that to start feeling out how people are going to perceive that, or even how Vince, when he sees them next to each other, okay, do we start figuring it? I mean, they got to start figuring out if they're going to pull the trigger on him being Universal Champion. It sounds weird.
No, it does sound weird. They just think, oh, we'll just shove him in the main event every week, and people will just like, oh, he's made it event material now.
Yeah, I'm curious to know what the executives, because we talked about on News Brief today. Executives at Fox, executives at USA, they're all trying to get in the business, trying to figure out the roster thing. That's why we landed with this brand versus brand invitational. I wonder what the executives at Fox think of Otis. I don't know. Be interesting to find out. Anyways, speaking of Otis, the episode of SmackDown tonight kicked off with Otis interrupting, or he was their guest.
He interrupted the introduction.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So anyways, Miz says, take a seat. Otis sits down, and of course he breaks the chair, so he stands back up, and he's like, oh, I'll just stand.
Yeah. He's asked, is this the biggest win in your career, winning Money in the Bank? And he says, yes, but the biggest win in my life was winning the heart of Mandy.
Yeah. That's when John Morrison asks what he's got in the briefcase, and they're acting the entire time. They're acting like high school bullies, basically.
Yeah, that's their shtick.
He said he's got the contract, some Rolex, some Gas X.
Not Rolex, Rolaids. Sorry.
Rolaids. Yeah, I'm just reading your notes here. Anchorman. And then he says he's got a bratwurst in there in case he gets hungry later. And he's like, I got the contract. And then we go through sort of like some family photo album of Otis. Get some pictures of young Otis. Jomo asks if he's pregnant because he's got a big belly, and He says he wonders if he'll give up the briefcase because
Miz says that would be the responsible thing to do. That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah.
Otis talks about dealing with a learning disability. His mother would help him out with his schoolwork, help him with keep his grades up so he could play sports. Miz says, "I can't take you seriously, Otis," as Mr. Money in the Bank. And Otis says, "I'm sensing a bit of a problem." And Miz says, "You're the problem." Says, "You're one step with that briefcase away from being Universal Champion, being the face of SmackDown." And he says, "All right, I'm tired of this. Bring out Tucky. We'll have a tag match right now."
Mm-hmm.
And Otis just says, "Tucky's not here." And what do you say the excuse was? It was
he had
dysentery
or something, dysentery or something like that.
Yeah, from the Oregon Trail.
The Oregon Trail. That again. So I guess we can just erase any and all hope of this thing being cashed in for the tag titles. That is not happening.
Yeah, not happening.
Like we didn't think that was going to happen anyways, but man, they have just been ruthless in making him a singles guy. He's a tag guy who had to search for a tag partner tonight, man. That's bummer for Tucky.
What's the over-under and how many weeks it's going to take for us to see Tucky on TV again?
Dude, I don't know. The guy is obviously willing to show up, and that's more than so many other wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man.
Tucky was doing great work through this whole Otis and Mandy story.
I know, it's weird. Like dude, he was being the best wingman.
I know.
It's a bummer. It's a total bummer.
Anyways, Miz tells Otis, "Go find a tag partner by the end of the show, and they'll teach him how to be a champ." After that, Michael Cole talks about the Intercontinental title tournament, unveils the bracket. We had Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak tonight. Also on that side of the bracket, Jeff Hardy and Sheamus. Opposite side of the bracket, you had Elias and Corbin. That happened next. But below that, Styles and Nakamura. This Baron Elias match I thought was a lot of fun. They gave it a ton of time, but never got dull.
Yeah, they gave this a lot of time.
They did.
This was a really long match.
But they kept the pace up. It didn't slow down. They took it outside. There was the bit with the guitar that played into the end of the match. It had all the ingredients in there. Baron lost essentially by roll-up.
Mm-hmm,
so it's all consistent with Baron's weakness. It was a lot of fun. Elias gets his comeuppance on Baron for tossing him off the crow's nest. It all worked out.
I will say this. This is how you do sort of long-term storytelling. Like these guys now have a history that goes back a little ways, and it's got some iconic moments to it. Mm-hmm. I mean, on their scale. I'm not saying this is Brett versus Shawn by any means, but this is the kind of thing where if you keep on building Baron, and like I don't really need more Baron in my life. But I appreciate that. I think that at some point they could turn some corners on him and get me more interested in him.
Yeah.
Because I think as a performer, he has it, and in the ring, he has it. The same could be said for Elias. I think Elias has all the raw ingredients. I just don't give a damn about his gimmick or anything they've done with him. But I think that the ingredients are there.
I'll posit this. Elias moves on. He faces winner of Nakamura and AJ. Nakamura moves on. He is one of Baron's assassins. Is that what he call them?
Mm-hmm.
Assassins, mercenaries, whatever. For sure, Baron's going to help Nakamura win that match, and Nakamura will reach the finals.
Yeah, that could be.
I mean, the dream matchup for this is they have a Daniel Bryan Nakamura final. They give it like a half hour at Backlash and let them put on the match that they've been wanting to put on for years.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then let those guys feud for 6 months. Because Daniel Bryan evidently didn't go anywhere. So yeah, I appreciate that they have these things. They're continuing on and they can revisit it. And so I always like that kind of stuff.
Totally.
So anyways, like you said, Elias hit a jumping knee on Baron and then immediately rolled him up with a cradle for the win. So Elias moves on. After that, we had Otis backstage. He's looking for a partner. He runs into Sheamus. And he wants him to be his tag team partner for the main event tonight. And Sheamus, hypes him up a little bit and then brings him back down and says, "No, fella."
Yeah, not a chance. Next, we get Otis and Mandy backstage. My internet froze up, so I didn't see the beginning of it. I just saw once Otis left. What happened prior to that?
She said, she let him feel her up a little bit. And then, yeah, it was shocking they put that on
Just say
camera.
you
I
don't
can't
remember.
believe you
Just-
missed that.
Just say you don't remember.
There were like 4 nipples on the screen, man. It was crazy.
Just say you don't remember.
No, man. She said, "Why don't you go ask Braun Strowman?"
No.
And he said, "Oh, okay." That's literally all. That's pretty much. He was like, "Oh, I
Literally all it
can't
was.
find a partner right now."
All right,
My
your
peach.
situation. At least more happened in your situation.
Exactly.
So he leaves. As he's leaving, SmackDown hackers there. I feel like it's kind of the same VO as last time. They want to know who I am. I am everywhere. I see everyone. I hear everything. I am the truth, and no one is safe.
He said,
But-
"They want to know who I am, but even they don't know."
Exactly. So it comes out of that. Braun's walking backstage. Otis rolls up to him and is like, "Hey, Braun, you gonna be my tag partner?" And Braun's like, "Huh? You think I'm gonna be your partner so you can cash in on me?" And Otis is like, "No."
Braun is so bad at reading dialogue, man. Oh, I see. So you want to be my partner so you can cash in on me?
But then it's like, "I got a lot of respect for your gall, Otis, for asking me to be your partner, so I'll think about it."
I need an answer. I just wanted him to say, "Oh, I need an answer." Like, because
If
what
you're
is he
gonna
going to
tell
do? Now he has to halt his search?
I know. And then if he continues to find someone that's a firm yes, and it's gonna get awkward. So
Right?
really, Braun, an answer right then and there is the appropriate response.
What would your response have been? Larson's backstage. He's facing Jomo and Miz later. He's like, "Man, Braun's not Braun be good. He's that big train guy. Let's go ask him." You go ask Braun. "I'll think about it." What do you say?
I'll take that as a no.
Right? You got to take it as a no. You always take the worst case scenario off the table, and the worst case scenario is you ain't got a partner.
Well, here's the thing too. Usually, in my experience, it's not 100% of the time, but a majority of the time, when someone says, "I'll think about it," that's their way of saying no,
No.
by trying to be nice about it.
Clearly. Yeah, absolutely.
So if someone says, "I'll think about it," I was like, "All right, that's a no. I'll move on with my
Right?
day."
Yeah. Hey, I'm moving.
Michael
next
P.S.
weekend.
Hayes, you gonna be my partner? Road Dogg, what about you?
Oh, you didn't know?
I got other plans tonight. He leaves. It's like I'm not even supposed to be here. This is
Road Dogg getting cleared no more.
Next we had Naomi versus Dana Brooke. Of course, Dana Brooke beat Naomi for a spot in Money in the Bank. Naomi went and get that loss back. She didn't. She lost again. She went for some sort of wheelbarrow thing, and Dana just like sat on her and got the win.
Good for Dana Brooke. Bad for
Yeah.
Naomi.
Yeah, bad for Naomi.
These people are going to be like, they said, all the people who were like getting wins back in the day, getting losses now, they're going to be like, why am I even showing up?
Wasn't the thing where I can ask my release and I get it? It just happens.
Right. She's like,
Something to
damn it.
consider.
Sami Zayn went home. I should go home too because I'm losing to Dana Brooke and I'm getting coronavirus because you know everybody there has it because they don't test. After that, we had this was like longer than that Baron
Oh man,
Corbin
this still
match.
gets me in the feels, man. I still get teary-eyed watching this stuff.
I'm just kind of tired of it by now, man. I got teary
No
eyed
way,
the first
man.
time. This time, done.
The montage with her history in WWE, man, that's good stuff.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
I mean, it's kind of a bummer. It was just a tie-in for what's that?
Chronicle
No,
24.
it was a tie-in for
24, the birth of Baby Rollins.
No, it was for who? Why am I blanking on this? The insurance company that has Flow.
Progressive.
is all a progressive tie-in. It's the match Flow segment of the night.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. That's great. Flo's been around
Yeah.
for a second, huh? She's been around for a while.
Mm-hmm.
After that, Charlotte Flair comes out and starts putting me to sleep with one of her promos.
She says, calls herself the hardest working woman in the industry because she works 3 days a week. She says they've run the numbers, they've done the market tests. The people want more Charlotte. Steve, do you agree with that assessment?
I don't know who these people are, but
They just asked Charlotte what she wanted.
you know what, man? I'll be honest, though. I actually thought it was kind of cool what they did tonight. I like,
Yeah.
you know, again, it's one of them things. You get these people with all this history. You got the horsewomen out there. I thought it was kind of cool. And the next week we're getting Bayley versus Charlotte. So, I mean, this segment wasn't like, I don't know. Again, it was the kind of thing that it needed the crowd. All this stuff needs
It
a
did. I
crowd.
thought Charlotte did a really good job of driving the wedge between Bayley and Sasha's reactions were good. She didn't, for the most part, overplay things.
I agree with that. They had Bayley talk a little bit too much, But
that was kind of the thing, though, is that she's talking over Sasha, won't let her get a word in.
Yeah, but even with that, I get the point. Even with that, they like her opening spiel was just too much. But no, it was fine. Yeah, like you said, Charlotte. So she starts off saying the Fox executives know that I'm money, so they brought me onto this show too. And then
calls herself the greatest.
Yeah, and then Bayley and Sasha come out. Bayley talks a lot. And she's saying, you need to get the hell out of my ring because I'm the greatest champion ever. I beat you. Charlotte's like, well, yeah, I was concussed. And then I forget what else she said. I know you have it in the notes here.
She said, last time beat her, it took getting a bad new haircut to get the job done to win the title off me the second time. Bayley tells Charlotte to go back to NXT or go back to Raw to beat Liv Morgan over and over. Bayley says she's the greatest. Most dominant SmackDown champion in history because she's beat everyone. Thanks for coming. Tells her to get the hell out of the ring. Charlotte says, I want to talk to Sasha. You made Bayley relevant when she won the NXT title. Now you're the only reason that she's still relevant.
Mm-hmm.
And then she says, think about what we did, Sasha. Main eventing Raw. Main eventing pay-per-views. And she's wondering why Sasha is content just being an afterthought, being Bayley's lackey. And Bayley's like, oh, you wouldn't understand our friendship. And Charlotte goes, I want Sasha to talk. Bayley interrupts, and that's when Sasha's like, the heck?
Yeah.
Bayley challenges Charlotte to a match. Charlotte accepts, but she says, I got a question for Sasha. She asks, are you going to be your own woman, or are you just going to be Bayley's lackey, and are you going to be happy being an afterthought?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then later on, it was announced that we're getting champion versus champion
next week.
I think that's going to be good, man. I think that'll be a good match. That's going to be a good one. Look, here's the thing that I kind of appreciate about the brand versus brand invitational is that with the wild card rule, for whatever reason, they were intent on trying to like put actual rules behind it. Like
there is a rule. They mentioned that during Charlotte when she came out. There is a rule.
What is
it? Superstar can only show up on the other brand 4 times a year.
Holy shit! I missed that. That's horrible.
There is a rule.
They need to stop with those rules because they break them every time.
What is May and Charlotte's going to be on SmackDown twice in 2 weeks? You trying to tell me she's not going to be on there twice in the rest of the year? Get out of here. There's 7 more months.
Didn't even notice that. Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was like a throwaway line from Cole.
Oh,
it was great.
wow.
It was mentioned while Charlotte was making her way down the ring.
Why are they doing that? They break them every time. And then it's such a distraction for like, wrestling people because they're like, wait a second. Like Sean Ross Sapp's going to be there with his damn stats. You're like, wait a second. This is the third time Charlotte's been on SmackDown.
Charlotte was on SmackDown 27 times this year.
And then he goes on Quizlemania and it helps him win all the time. He's a tyrant, damn it.
Well, Luke won this last time, though. So.
For now. They better not bring that Sean Ross Sapp back. He's going to win it right back.
Braun had an interview next. He's back there warming up, getting his flex on. He's asked, are you Yoda's partner? He said, I'm still chewing on it. This is just what I do to think. He gets his pump on to think.
Yeah.
After that, we had a Forgotten Sons promo. Had a disclaimer, such as saying the opinions expressed in this are not the opinions of WWE, just the opinions of Jackson Riker.
Yeah. It was weird to see him smile. He was smiling in this.
He seemed more soft-spoken than he should have been. He's jacked, he's tattooed. I mean, I didn't dislike it. I thought it was good. I didn't want him to put on, like a typical wrestler voice for this. It was supposed to.
Let me tell you something. At the end of the day,
didn't want that. It's a shoot voice, and it seemed,
Yeah, it came off as genuine.
Like this.
No, it came off as genuine. And look, you and I have gone back and forth on the Forgotten Sons, endlessly trying to figure out. At least they got something. They got an angle, and they're sticking with it.
Yeah.
We served our time. And now we're vets and we've been forgotten.
We were unappreciated. Yeah, we came back. Yeah.
I mean, some of it's a bit on the cringy because he doesn't literally say PTSD, but he sort of talks around the idea of PTSD. And it's like, oh man, don't bring that stuff up.
Part of me feels like this is a gimmick that got lifted from like 1975.
Yeah, no, totally. Absolutely.
Like post Vietnam War, from my understanding, I wasn't alive then. that was a common feeling. A lot of vets came back and felt like they weren't appreciated because the war was wildly unpopular.
Oh yeah, yeah.
These days, by and large, those sort of sentiments don't exist, to my knowledge.
Well,
at least to that level of prevalence.
So in terms of public, the public perception, you're absolutely right.
Obviously.
But and
That's
here's something that they really don't want to get into is that the suicide rates for veterans I think are pretty high.
Yeah.
And that's like really heavy, deep stuff to get into.
Yeah.
But I do, from what I understand, there is a lot of help out there for veterans, I think. But there's some ugly stats. But again, this is wrestling. Do we really want to be talking about this?
And I guess I was talking about was the public perception.
You're absolutely right. When they talk like this, I think of Tom Cruise and Born on the 4th of July.
Exactly.
I think of all the footage we see of like protesters calling Vietnam veterans baby killers when they're coming back home, and it's horrible. Like the draft was horrible. They made these kids go and kill people. It was horrible.
It was horrible.
And, nobody should have been doing that back then. You can protest the government all you want. But, man, come on now. Anyways. Again,
so
it's not something we should be talking about, and they're kind of making us.
It feels like a gimmick out of time, Mm-hmm. Because I think, by and large, the public perception these days is these men and women who go overseas and fight in our country's names, they're going out and doing the work, and when they come home, they're to be appreciated. It's not across the board. I understand that. I know there's some stats that are not good, but I think generally the public perception is that's the attitude.
Yeah.
For the country,
dude,
basically.
They wouldn't, truck companies car companies wouldn't run truck commercials, celebrating the troops if that wasn't the case. And in fact, Duckman here in Twitch says it. These days, we don't blame the men and women who fight. We blame those who send them to fight, which is exactly who gets protested.
Yes.
You're absolutely right. That's why, and you're right, this gimmick, it just feels outdated, But that being said, I don't know. Look, on the positive side of this, trying to be positive here, maybe there are some veterans who do feel like this, and maybe they're watching wrestling and they relate, and they're like, hey, you know what? I do feel left out. So, but no, Anthony F says it's just not something that should be a wrestling gimmick. It's insensitive and outdated. But hey, if somebody finds value in it, then I think it's okay. But if people are like, really, this is tacky, then maybe it's not. It totally helps that two of these guys are actual veterans, so that's good.
It does. They need to explain the junkyard still. Like Wesley Blake owns the junkyard. He's the only guy that would hire Cutler and Riker. And it all makes sense. That makes sense. I'll be on board.
Yeah.
It'll make sense at least because right now, how does Blake fit in, and where does the junkyard come into all this?
I'll ask my dad's a veteran. He was in Nam, and I'll ask him if post Nam he ever hung out in a junkyard.
All right, do that.
I'll ask him.
Okay.
He tried to FaceTime me during SmackDown, and I cut him off. He's in South America. I don't know. He might have been kidnapped by a cartel. I don't know. I should probably call him at some point.
Yeah, you should follow up on that conversation. Next, we had Miz and Morrison do an interview, and essentially Morrison just said, Naomi and Braun is dumb enough to be Otis's partner. And Miz talks some more, but I ignored it. Because I kind of feel like he just says the same things over and over. Let's talk about this awesome match between Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak. Fantastic. Great technical stuff. Some great German suplexes in there as well. Just fantastic technical wrestling.
Mat wrestling at its best.
So good. A bunch of dragon screw leg whips. Daniel Bryan won not with a yes lock, with a heel hook. I love that because he was working the leg. That last dragon screw he gave to Drew looked nasty.
Yeah.
Drew sold the hell out of it.
Oh yeah.
Slaps the heel hook on right there. Got the win. I like that he brought the heel hook back. Remember, because when he first came back, when he first turned heel, he was using the heel hook a lot. Anyway, great stuff. Like really, Daniel Bryan. If I didn't have the idea in mind that he was taking a break soon to hang out with his newborn, I'd pick him to win this whole tournament. He's the absolute best. Put the Universal title on Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, no, I agree. I love Drew Gulak too. I was really pulling for Drew Gulak in this, to be honest with you, but they weren't going to have that happen. I mean, that's how you make people, man. That's how. If Daniel Bryan isn't winning this tournament, I mean, yeah, ideally Daniel Bryan versus Nakamura would be great. What are the other? Hold on. What are the other? So he's fighting Sheamus or Hardy.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the
Sheamus. It'll be Sheamus because they'll probably want a face heel thing.
Oh, that could be. Oh, that's a good point. That could be, huh? And they've got history too. Yeah. So
yeah, they do. And then you got Elias taking on the winner of Nakamura and Styles. Both of them are heels. Someone like Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan, AJ, Daniel Bryan, Nakamura makes sense. But if they want to heel face then for Sheamus, then it's going to be Sheamus Elias.
Yeah.
Which would be a good spot for Elias to get at least to the finals. It'd be something for him.
All right, so wait, what are we doing here? Bryan, wait, what is, it's going to be, so the top line is the, okay.
One side of the bracket, and the second line is the other side.
Elias. Yeah, so both Styles and Nakamura are kind of bad guys right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah. Nakamura is probably going to go to the finals.
Good. Or
If
he
it's
can lose to Elias.
Nakamura-
That's entirely conceivable.
Yeah, Bryan actually might be my new number one now that I think about it. Because, I mean, you could do Nakamura versus Sheamus, but wouldn't you do Bryan versus Nakamura?
Yeah, if Nakamura's going to be the finals. But if, yeah. Or you could do Elias Sheamus.
You
That'd be a
could
great
do
spot for
Hardy
Elias.
versus Bryan because that's you can categorize that under a dream matchup. They do that.
Totally.
And then put Hardy versus Nakamura maybe.
Or Hardy versus AJ.
Hardy versus AJ would be killer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of good matchups there. That's good stuff.
So we're probably going to get Sheamus versus Elias. That's what the finals are probably going to be.
You think it's going to be Sheamus versus Elias?
I'm just saying we have a bunch of potential quality dream matchups. So probably going to get Sheamus versus Elias.
You said that with too straight of a face. That's funny. So yeah, no, this is a really great match. Anything you want to go over specifically, or just that?
I mean, I could. It's just a lot of great
Let's
technical
go watch
stuff,
the damn
working
match,
body
people.
parts. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. Just go watch it. Anything I say will lessen the quality of the match. Next week we went through this: Bayley versus Charlotte, Styles versus Nakamura, Hardy versus Sheamus, and then we get Otis and Mandy versus Dolph and Sonya Deville. After that, Sonya had a promo, fantastic. She's so dang good. Put the belt on her.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah, man, that was a really good promo. Like every week, she's just delivering, dude.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So she says everything that she's promised has come true. Next week, she's going to humiliate Mandy like she did a couple weeks ago. Wonders what Mandy is good at. And it's like, oh yeah, just being blonde and pretty. And when that's over, where will you be? In a double wide with kids cooking meat for Otis.
Yeesh. Get him a beer.
Sonya said that she was going to ruin Mandy's life, and believe her that she's just getting started, and dares Mandy to show her why she deserves to share the same ring with her.
I wonder, a question I'd love to ask Sonya is who she's gone to for help with her promos. It's entirely possible she's just on the road and she just practices a lot. But, it wouldn't surprise me if some wrestlers are out there getting advice from other wrestlers.
We've heard that Bray is really good with people backstage, helping them with their promos.
Could be Dolph. I wonder if they travel. Well,
Dolph.
there's no traveling now, is there?
No.
There is no on the road. I meant going to the Wawa.
Going to the Wawa, getting the apparently they have very fine sandwiches at the
Getting
Wawa.
some curbside sandwiches or however they're doing that. I guess Florida's open now, huh? So those
The
are
Wawa.
you can walk into a Wawa and get a sandwich, I guess.
I guess you got to keep your 6 feet distance, otherwise you're good. Main event: Miz and Morrison versus Otis and mystery partners. Braun. Why is Braun's Tron like Thomas the train engine, but this like in really scary form?
I saw you want to
It's
hear
like an anthropomorphic train. It's weird.
Well, Thomas is weird in the first place.
Oh, it's really weird.
Who is the best conductor, George Carlin or Ringo Starr?
I mean, I'd say George Carlin.
Really?
No beef against Ringo. He's a legend in his own right.
Carlin is certainly the most given his spiel about the words you can't say on TV. Definitely the most interesting choice for a kids show.
He maybe just needed a paycheck.
No, man. The other day I saw. Yeah, that could be too. Somebody put Thomas the Tank Engine, his train, but they use RoboCop's Murphy head as the front. Creepiest thing you'd ever see in your life. It's messed up.
Braun's head on the train is pretty freaky too, man.
Yeah, but Murphy, he looked like Smooth P. He ain't got no eyebrows, no hair, no beard, no nothing. He's all on a train. Nobody wants to see that coming at you. I would understand it, like all those weirdos back in the silent film era when they did that train film, and everybody ran out of the theater because they thought the train was going to come into the theater.
Yeah.
No, idiots. Just on it's all a bunch of pictures. Just
Yeah. So imagine if they projected the Braun train towards them. People would just be having heart attacks.
They'd have heart attacks left and right. Same with the Murphy train.
Too much.
Who would win, Murphy train or Braun train?
It's RoboCop, man. Come on.
Yeah, it's RoboCop. Well, it's Murphy. Murphy.
I feel like now that if Otis was trying to cash in, felt like he was overwhelmed the strength department with Braun, he'd bring in RoboCop to counter the strength of Braun Strowman.
That would be so wise. But it'd be modern day like Joel Kinnaman RoboCop, and he sucks. Braun tried to do the caterpillar here, and instead he just did a bunch of weird push-ups.
It was terrible. Terrible.
Why would you have Braun do that? That's like something you do like after the cameras are off rolling.
Yeah, that's a house show moment or post Raw thing. Yeah, or
yeah.
Post SmackDown. Totally is. It totally is. They don't take Braun seriously. That's pretty self-evident at this point. Just look at this Tron. Put his head on a train.
He's basically Thomas the Tank Engine.
So Otis is eventually isolated. He's getting worked over a bunch. He eventually gets the tag to Braun. He does the usual thing. He basically chucks Morrison right on his shoulder. Works over the Miz, looking for some shoulder tackles. Morrison hops over the barricade. Not humps the barricade, hops over the barricade. Miz uses a shoulder tackle. Back in the ring. Morrison pulls Miz out of the way. Every match, Braun has to get posted on the ring post, and I'm tired of it. Every time.
That's his thing.
Time he charges towards
somebody.
somebody.
Every wrestler has their thing.
Every time. So Morrison gets some offense in, and then he does something. Braun just picks him up, power slam, win. So he basically won the match by himself.
Yeah, no, he did. He totally did.
Otis is like laying on the floor, peels himself off, gets in the ring to join Braun to celebrate. Mandy comes out to ringside. Braun turns towards her. Otis puts the briefcase down like we're supposed to think he's going to cash in. He's supposed to hand the briefcase to the referee.
He doesn't know how to do it.
Put it on the floor.
He doesn't know how to do it.
Braun turns around. It's like, what the hell are you doing? Otis like, oh, I'm just kidding. It's a joke.
Where's my joke? Give me a fist bump.
They fist bump. Braun should have power slammed it right then and there, man.
I know. And even Braun, Braun shoot sort of looked annoyed. Like Otis and Mandy were like hugging up in front of him, and his music is playing, and he looks over them at the camera and puts up his title. He's like, why is this? Yeah, it's a disaster right now. If I was Fox, I'd be like, put somebody else in charge of creative.
Yeah.
I swear it just feels like Vince is writing off Empty Arena era. He's like,
kind of feels that way.
He gets a call from Fox and USA. He's like, this is so annoying. Fine, brand invitational. We'll give it a rule.
You want to do some questions?
Yes, let's do that.
All right, Gareth over here in the Twitch. Are the Forgotten Sons tiptoeing on the stolen valor? Why not ditch Blake and make Riker and Cutler the true veteran duo? Riker can just stay in the corner while Cutler does all the work.
They That's
why you got to
do.
explain that Wesley Blake owns the junkyard and hired them when no one else would. That way is explained.
Yeah, no, that's good. But if they don't do that, what if they turn that into a storyline? They're already kayfabing this stuff, and it's all uncomfortable. Why don't they kayfabe the stolen? They're like, hey, wait a second. We just got your records in. You've been lying to us.
It's time for me to go somewhere.
Is that offer still open for me not to come to work?
I starts coughing.
Oh, I can't breathe.
I feel tight. Dang MQ, I sense that Wildcard 2.0 is something brought on by the networks due to the low number of talent who could travel. You'd find out details in today's news brief at Dang MQ.
That's right, you can, absolutely. Mr. Lipkin, of the 3 winners of the Women's Rumble so far, who is most likely to become the first 2-time winner? He clarifies, Charlotte is Vince's favorite, Asuka's great, and Becky making a big return in a couple of years to win could be huge.
Oh, wait, Rumble?
Yeah,
Right.
who's most likely to be 2-time Rumble? It's got to be Becky, I would think.
Yeah, you think of the group there, it'd have to be Becky, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because we've got this year's Rumble, which, I mean, Asuka, there's always the potential that Asuka could win that, I guess. But she also could still be champion at that point.
Mm-hmm.
and then the next year is going to be Becky.
Mm-hmm. Enforcer Stevie Bradley. Steve, have you ever interviewed your dad about his time in Nam?
So it's interesting. So my dad was Air Force, so he wasn't in the shit. That being said, if you're in Vietnam, you were kind of in the shit regardless of where you were. And so, like, for example, his barracks, like, blew up or something when he wasn't there. It was, yeah. But he doesn't like to talk about it. Like, I think he's told me before that he's like, my non-memories are my own and that they're going to stay that way. But he has let slip stories from time to time, and it is always the most fascinating thing because, you know, I'll be with him and something that we see or hear or whatever will trigger something that happened in Nam, not like in a PTSD way, but it'll trigger a memory that he's okay sharing, and then he'll share it. Most of his memories have more to do with musical stuff. Like, you know, I'll always ask, hey, you know, did you have any Pink Floyd friends that were Pink Floyd fans or whatever, various groups, because he wasn't a Pink Floyd guy. And he'd be like, yeah, there's this guy in Nam, and, you know, he was going to send me out his records or something like that. I don't know. He's got like a bunch of stories like that, but yeah, he's pretty guarded about that stuff. Pug Poolhausen, do we really need to continue with the whole Otis is so fat he breaks things gag? 3 times in the last week, it's been pulled, and 2 of them with ladders. As long as Vince McMahon is alive, that will never cease to make him laugh, and so it's going to continue.
Mr. Forbesy, do you think that they telegraphed AJ win the Intercontinental title by saying it's the only belt he hasn't won? He would be a big name to please Fox. Also, reparation for the release of the OC.
I just think he's too wrapped up in the Undertaker stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's just, you know, that's going to be his story. I mean, those are good points. And he's always like potentially a IC champion.
Yeah. I mean, you put a belt on AJ, you can't go wrong.
Right.
That's
exactly.
why I thought he wouldn't win the bank.
He almost did.
Yeah, he should have. It's a lot of horse shit.
Greg Morris, trade Otis's gimmick with any wrestler, and that person takes his gimmick. Jack Gallagher.
That'd be the tattoos, huh?
Yeah, and Otis comes out and like
Damian Priest.
I've got a brisket in here. I've got a bratwurst in my briefcase. And Otis is like, oh, look at all my people that I own, all my women.
MC Seminole Runner, how do you guys feel about Sammy running down the Intercontinental title tournament and calling it illegitimate in character on Twitter with the supposed heat he has backstage? Yeah, he should be doing Twitter promos.
Yeah, he's doing the bare minimum to maybe keep his job.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, I'll get on Twitter. I don't believe in this tournament. Let's see here. Rays says, I know they've had a few SmackDown matches together, but I feel like they ended in wonky finishes. Could we finally have a solid one-on-one tournament finish between Bryan and Nakamura? That's what we're kind of hoping for, huh?
Yeah, that'd be great. That's the ideal final matchup. Yeah. Fear and Loathing, could you imitate Conrad doing a podcast with Vince? Vince, what the fuck were you thinking at the end of WrestleMania 9?
So what would be the top of Conrad's list of things to ask Vince what the fuck he was thinking?
It'd probably be, Vince, what the fuck were you thinking when you put the belt on Hogan ahead of that European tour he wasn't even on?
Well, we already sold the tickets. Oh no, we had to sell the tickets.
He said to say, but it's added value.
It's added value. But the tickets were sold.
The tickets were sold, Bruce. That's still the best exchange in history of that show, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
that was so good.
The best, or
the train ad.
The train. Oh my God, the train ad read. The train ad read and the Heidenreich sex Blue Chew read.
Yeah, no, that's good too.
Those are all the best. I need to get back to listening to that show.
Me too.
It's so good.
Me too. Conrad's damn good.
He really is. I got to listen to that Arn one. Arn's dropping stories like every week these days.
No, he's got bombshells every episode.
Right?
Anthony, Steve, how would Undertaker and Otis interact?
Hello, Otis. I hear you're the hot new thing. My name is Mark.
I'm coming.
Hey, Otis. Which lives matter?
White Brownie 92. So what's WWE's excuse for NXT not being part of the brand-to-brand invitation? We talking about Charlotte was on SmackDown tonight.
Wait,
NXT
what? Oh, yeah, right. Oh man, people popping over my Undertaker. Derek Oblick. Why was Otis looking for a tag partner as Tucky disappeared for good? Yeah, him having dysentery based off the Oregon Trail. I don't even understand. Look, I know what the Oregon Trail is. I know the video game, and you've died.
It's a terrible joke. It's a terrible joke.
It's weird that Otis would be making jokes. That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. That's why it's bad.
Yeah.
Dangum Q, did you guys see Cesaro impersonating Regal's real man's man on Instagram? He did it after he lost Uno to Xavier Woods.
Oh, I didn't know that was he lost the okay, that's funny. I did see it. It's hilarious. Let's see here. Scott Hill Jr. The other day, Larson started reading a not so video friendly comment and stopped short. Why don't you guys make a video series reading vulgar / obscene comments and questions? Just a thought. Thank you for continuing to bring us entertainment throughout this craziness. I think so. Okay, there's two things. There's one thing that I would be okay doing, but I'm just not really interested in it, is reading like rude but funny comments about you and I.
Oh, yeah, totally.
I'm fine with that, but I think what you stopped short on reading was probably offensive to our sensibilities. And not something that we'd want to read on video.
I don't remember what that was.
I don't know what the comment was. I just know there's some stuff that we don't want to read.
Yeah. Let the Fiend in. Top 3 wrestlers from each promotion shining through the crowdless era. So essentially MVPs of each promotion.
Each promotion. Are we talking about like Raw, SmackDown, NXT?
Sure.
Okay. Well, Raw obviously is I'd say Asuka.
So Asuka, Drew, because he's on every week.
Drew, and I'd say Zelina Vega.
Yeah.
And then on SmackDown,
It's got to be Daniel Bryan's got to be on there.
Daniel Bryan's on there. I'd say Otis is on there.
Sonya.
Oh, and Sonya. Yeah, Sonya's been really good.
NXT. Who's been on every NXT?
Dexter Lumis has had a really good NXT showing. I mean, some of it is just the timing on their like arrival, sort of.
He's like the perfect guy to put out there for no crowd,
Yeah, for sure. Otis, Dijak has had a pretty good showing.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in some decent matches.
Night by night, will we see a model train version of the Strowman Express on Firefly Funhouse?
I hope so.
Yes,
God,
please.
I hope so.
Yes, please.
Speaking of which, I don't know if anybody's asked this yet. When do we foresee Bray returning?
Well, I guess depends if we think they're going to have a match at Backlash.
I don't know.
Don't know either. Because we still got June, July, August.
6 weeks? 5 weeks?
Well, I'm saying in SummerSlam, if they were waiting to do the title change at SummerSlam.
Oh, yeah.
Still basically 3 months. And that's if SummerSlam doesn't get pushed.
They usually keep Bray, like, they don't use him, like, comparatively speaking. It's not like he's not on like a weekly basis.
Mm-mm.
James Rodriguez, if AJ wins the IC titles, that means he's jumping over to SmackDown?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
That'd be great if they had AJ win and he just goes back to Raw.
I know.
Fox is pissed.
Both mid-card champs on Raw.
Yeah. What Wolfpack for life? What NXT superstar would have you had in the IC tournament? How far would they make it? And if losing, how would they lose? That's a good question. I'd have Keith Lee enter the IC tournament, and he's eliminated because Damian Priest shows up and whacks him in the leg
Nightstick.
with his nightstick.
Dijak could be in it and lose, and it wouldn't be that huge of a deal.
Oh yeah. That would be kind of par for the course.
Yeah.
Hey, that'd be a good first round match as Dijak and Daniel Bryan.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It'd be like the Gargano match.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's right.
Let's see here. Local Doug Kokel. Could Baron ever be turned around to be a face? Yes, I think he could. I think people would accept that.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think it's possible he'd be better as a face at this point. Yeah. Maybe. Alex Foster, if the Forgotten Sons were ever turned into a comedy act, how would you showcase them? They'd be like Heavy Machinery, but for junkyards.
There you go.
They'd show up to the ring with like another piece of trash every week.
No, they'd slide down the ramp on like a car hood. There you go. Diehard Homer wants to hear your Maurice impression.
My Maurice impression. Who are these Forgotten Sons? I hear one of them is not even a real veteran, but he works at the junkyard. Let's see here. And then Rich the Smash Bro just asks, so where is Tucky? Yeah, what would be the actual answer for that? He has dysentery. Maybe Tucky got like a bout of some nasty diarrhea.
Did he drink some pond water or something? How did he get dysentery?
It's pond water. I think he's got explosive diarrhea. That's my guess. I'm done with the Patreon. What are you doing on the Twitch?
Let the Fiend in. I read that WWE was going to do more dream matches. Can we just get Daniel Bryan versus Gargano, please? That'd be great.
Seriously. Send Daniel Bryan to NXT, man. Who would want to see that? That'd be great.
There you go.
Anyways, let's see here. Is there anybody that we want to raid? Nobody's on right now. Lawrence is on, but we've already rated him. James is on, but he wouldn't even notice. We've already rated him anyways.
Last time.
He didn't notice. I don't notice anybody else that is on right now. So
same.
It's a raidless night, everybody. Penelope Ford, is she on right now? Oh, look at that. How many people are watching Penelope Ford? Oh, that'd be awkward. Right now, she's only got 32. I don't want to just inundate her with everybody that's our people.
Apparently, Drew Gulak's streaming right now.
Really? But he had a fight tonight.
I'll tell you, man.
He's got 87 people. Again, that'd be a little awkward, isn't it? He's got a nice Bruce. He's got a hat on.
We just did Bruce, yesterday?
Yeah, we just did Bruce already. Mike Rome is on.
Man, everybody's got a Twitch these days.
Everybody.
Dr. Lipkin really wants us to raid Drew.
We're not going to raid Drew. That just seems awkward. We don't know him.
Link says, help people grow, help people grow, not awkward.
What do you say?
We can do it. Why not?
We're going to do it? We're going to raid Drew Gulak?
How many people are in this
He's
chat?
got 87.
And how many do we have right now?
Somebody just asked him, if you did make it to the next round, who would you have wanted to face next between Sheamus and Hardy? It's just live shoot interviews all day long. We have
190 right now. Okay,
we have 190.
All right, why not? Let's help him out.
Rate him. All
Sure.
right, we'll tell Drew Gulak that the Going in Raw podcast is a big fan of his.
Says hello.
And his match was great tonight.
Fantastic.
And be nice to him and show him that the Friendos are awesome and very positive people.
Yes. Mr. Dub says, Raid Impact quadruple their followers.
If they had like a live person, like, there chatting with people, I'd totally do that. I'd Raid Impact. Quadruple their followers. All right. Let's see here. I'm going to hit the raid channel button.
There you go.
Drew Gulak. There he is. Start raid. He's got 79 people. In 8, 7, 6. We've got 100 people about to raid him.
Wow.
Oh, it's so awkward. Here we go. Thanks for watching, everybody. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.